Hi everybody, I'm Shabrinath, a soft skill trainer, and today I'm gonna discuss something regarding desserts and salt. Oh, sorry. I'm not a chef, and I'm from life skills background, training and L&D background. So what I'm exactly gonna speak is stress management. So you'll be like, then why did this guy start with desserts and salt, right? So normally we are very familiar with people mentioning about stress, people going through a tremendous stress, right? But then have we ever noticed while having a scoop of your dessert that it's reverse speaks stressed, right? So I was trying to see if stress can be reversed to dessert, which is something of pleasure and something which we love, and that is very sweet, unlike stress or stressed. And then why salt? Okay, basically, if you are a cook, I mean, at least you have entered the kitchen and tried something on cooking, you might have noticed one thing. Many ingredients are there, but then almost all the recipes, fortunately or unfortunately, requires a small amount of salt. It can be like, the amount can vary, but then salt is required in a smaller quantity based on the proposition of what is being cooked. And in that way, if we are really aware of life, if we are really aware of goals, if we are really aware of the success, we understand one fact: stress is necessary. We need stress in our day to day life, in our work, all through our journey. If we are goal oriented people, we definitely require stress. And whenever I think about stress, I remember this great, there's a Austrian neurologist and a psychiatrist called Viktor Franklin. And in the best thing about Viktor Franklin was he was in Nazi, during the World War II. And that time he was in the concentration camp, and the stress level, he felt he was so much into stress and he was at the verge of giving up his life. And that is when he authored this book called Man's Searching for Meaning. Yeah, Man Searching for Meaning. That was his book's name. And in this book, what he mentioned was about positive thinking, all those aspects of life. Think in a concentration camp during the World War II, and someone who almost planned to give up his life gave a great insight on positive thinking, like being positive. So, where did the stress suddenly go? Or I listened to one of the speeches of Sadhguru in which he was telling stress management is basically managing your own system. So, I think it's like the system he mentioned probably should be the mind, right? And another famous personality I remember whenever I speak about stress is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Everyone knows him as Captain Cool. But what we should remember and notice is that it's not that Mahendra Singh Dhoni never had stress. I mean, rather, he had stress almost every time he went into the ground with the team. Or he, as a wicketkeeper or just a dream player, he did carry stress. But then, quantity. He always ensured the quantity was maintained only to ensure his focus is not lost. And the stress never got beyond the quantity. If the salt is more in your dish, it won't taste good. But if the salt is missing altogether, again, it won't taste. And I really hope you understand the fact that stress is a part of life, a part of success. It is supposed to be there. Stress, pressure, you call it in whichever name you want. It is required in an adequate measure. And if that is there, success is there. And you need to maintain the quantity, and no one can help you with that. The awareness of self, knowing what you are, what are your goals, will help you to understand what is the amount of stress you need to take. A mother on her labor room, the stress is very high, but the other times, maybe a mother doesn't require so much of stress being used in her. The awareness that the child to come out the stress amount should be more. It's a pressure being applied here. I am in speaking in that context. So the baby to come out the stress or the pressure is very, very high compared to the other days, but it's not that the mother is not having stress or pressure. So please, let's understand stress is part of our life, and that is why we call stress management, not avoidance. It's stress management. I hope you all have a great dessert by turning stress into desserts and enjoying a sweet happy life ahead. Thank you all for listening to me. Shabrinath signing off.